Alright guys, Zinc here, welcome back to the channel for another Street Fighter Duel video. So, unless you've been living under a rock, I think you know that the thing that's kind of dominated the feelings of the players right now is the fact that they introduced the Universal Dupe system, which was aptly named Chaotic Starlight, and it seemed to work because it caused a bit of chaos within the community. Kind of widely speaking, I don't really think anyone liked it, whether it be Whale, Free to Play, Dolphin, whatever. I don't really think anyone liked the system. And this video isn't necessarily about that, but it kind of ties into it, right? So there was a video I've wanted to make for a while talking about basically, are whales the issue with these type of games, right? Because a lot of times I've seen people saying things like, oh my god, the only reason that these purchases exist is because people like you, other whales and stuff like that, buy them. If you didn't buy them, then they wouldn't be as greedy with this type of game. So I basically wanted to open up a discussion within the channel, so this is your chance to say what you think, right? But I'm going to explain to you why I think that that's actually completely off base, right? I actually believe, come after me all you want guys, I actually believe the issue with these type of games actually stems from free-to-play players in the wider free-to-play base. Now the reason for this is the traditional freemium model, so this type of game, was basically birthed because developers tried to make games. They brought out games, they priced them up on the App Store, on the Play Store and stuff like that, and there's documented evidence of this. They don't sell, like plain and simple. There is absolutely fantastic games that have been ported to, made for mobile. They get a price tag. Sometimes it's 5, sometimes it's 25, sometimes it's even 30 if it's a big enough game. Dollars attached to it, and quite simply they don't sell. And there is a lot of research and there is a lot of fact finding that's going on, and basically what's been found is mobile gamers just do not want to, en masse anyway, spend money on games. They don't want to do it. A recent example of this is Vampire Survivors, which is a fantastic game, and the developer found by doing research and things like that, that despite it being a fantastic game, if he was to offer it to people at $1, people didn't want to pay that. They wanted a free version because people, I don't know why, but they feel like games on mobiles should be free. I don't know what gave rise to that, I don't, right? Now obviously that doesn't apply to every single person, but when you've got a marketplace of a couple of 100 million across Android and iOS, and you've got maybe 2% of that would be willing to spend money on a game, it's not profitable for those developers to try and target that 2%, because within that 2% they're all going to have different tastes. Some might like RPGs, some might like shooters, whatever. Whereas the wider 98%, you've got a far larger pool of customers to pull from. So that's basically why these games were born, because they needed to get the games in front of people. People were not willing to spend money on full price games. I mean, just go and look. There's full games like Disgaea, like the full game. When I was doing Disgaea RPG, people were saying, oh, I really wish I could get Disgaea on my mobile phone. They brought out Disgaea, full game, exactly the same as you get on the Nintendo Switch or the PlayStation 4 or 5, and no one bought it because people don't want to spend that kind of money on games for a mobile device. So that's why this type of game exists, because no one will download these games if you have to pay an upfront fee. They won't download RPGs like Chrono Trigger, which has been ported. It's done terribly because you've got to pay that. You've got to pay it $9.99. It's so bad, in fact, that a couple of years ago, I wish I could remember the game. I really do, right? But there was a game that was $1, right? And it was raved about. Everybody said fantastic game. However, it turned out that $1 game was the most pirately installed game, whether it be on a jailbroken iPhone or an Android device. It was the most pirated game on the platform. A $1 game, and people will still pirate it because they do not want to spend that $1 on a game. So because of that, the only way developers can really make games is by doing them in this horrible freemium style. Right guys, I'm not going to kid you on. I would rather just pay $20 and get a game. None of this freemium, every 5 minutes you've got to spend money, because basically to keep the game going, they need the people who are willing to spend money to spend more money than they really should have to spend, which enables the game to run for everyone who's not willing to spend money. So in my opinion, and really I'm saying my opinion, but a lot of it's fact-based, I actually wouldn't say that the problem is whales. These games fully exist because as a wider player base, free-to-play stroke people who do not want to spend money on games caused these games to be birthed into existence. And because of that, and because even when developers have taken risks, things like Monster Hunter Stories, they've not done well. They've plain and simply not done well. People do not make the additional purchase to unlock the full game. They'll play the extended demo or whatever, but they won't go ahead and actually pay for the full game. So, while in an ideal world you would love to say that if whales or spenders didn't buy packs like this, then developers would not make packs like this. They would make things that are more accessible, more appealing to people who would want to buy. The facts are that even if they made these packs way more appealing, if they made these packs, he's got a floating head, if they made these packs 50% less, the facts are only a very small portion of the player base would still be willing to spend money, and really it would not drive revenue up as much as you think. The issue ultimately lies with the fact that if people stopped buying packs in general, they just close the game. It's not going to lead to a better game with more rewarding purchases and stuff like that, because they know ultimately they're not going to get it. Having cheaper packs, the whale who would buy one pack at $99, he'll probably just buy two of the £50 packs now and he'll just get twice as much for his money, but he's still going to spend the same amount of money, because the percentage of people who were not already spending isn't going to go up. Like, with all the good faith in the world, people can say that, oh, you would convert this number of players and you would suddenly get spending players and all the rest of it. But the facts are, some people are just predisposed to never want to spend money on mobile games, and ultimately that's what happens. And it's been shown time and time again, when developers do take a chance, when they do try to release a console-like experience, whether it be a handheld console or a big console, and they release it on mobile, but they charge a price for it, $4.99, $9.99, whatever, the games don't do well. They do not sell, because like I say, people have this ingrained notion into their head that mobile games should be free, and ultimately it's why we are now stuck with this freemium model. So my opinion, and I want to hear you guys' opinion, my opinion is, of are whales the issue when it comes to this type of games? No, I think it is the market as a whole, and the fact that in the largest proportion of players there is a disposition to not want to spend money. So as much as you might hate me saying this, I actually think the problem is more free-to-play players than it is pay-to-play whales. I want to know your opinion on this though. Really, it's not going to change anything in Street Fighter Duel, to be honest. The only thing that's going to happen is if these packs don't do well, it's just going to be a cycle that spins on and on and on, and eventually the game will close. No point in trying to sugarcoat it. They could not make these packs better. Like I say, what you see on the screen right now could be 50% that price. And the only thing that would happen differently is the people who were already going to spend money would be able to spend less. And that's not going to make free-to-play players feel any better. It's just going to make them think whales are getting an even better deal. It's still not going to make them open their wallets. It's still not going to make the health of the game any different. But I see these comments a lot, and I feel like they're a little bit ill-advised, and people don't really think of the bigger picture when it comes to this whole argument. So I'm keen to know your point of view. I've spoke to Payne about this. I told him I was going to make this video. He thinks it'll be a bit interesting. He thinks I might get a little bit of heat for it, but hey, you know what? It's all about opinions, isn't it? And discussions. Anyway guys, I've been Hazink. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one. Peace.